Hi BookTube. I am thrilled that it is Friday, so I thought I would share my joy of Friday and the weekend with you and talking about my reading plans. I've had a great day so far, although this week has been very busy with work because I had Monday off, and so it's just a really busy time right now. There's a bunch of different side projects, not my main work, but side projects that it's impeding on my main work, so just everything is chaos and everything has like a mile long to do list on it, but that's in the past because I am off work. I had a really nice time after work of going to like there's like little ponds like laced through this like walking area, and so I took Fable over, but there was a ton of geese and ducks. There's way more geese than there was last time. So she likes to tease them to get them to fly. That's her favorite part is when they're flying. So we had a time like reining her in, so I'm not like flying after the geese along with her. uh, yeah, so there was that, and then I went out and picked up some dinner, and I went to a local Mexican bakery because there's really delicious like Mexican like breads and things like that are just delicious. And I got a horchata, and yeah, so I've had a nice Friday, and I came back home right before the sun went down. It was a really nice sunny day. But of course, I didn't manage to film while the sun was up, but the lighting, make do with what we have. But now I'm getting ready to curl up with some books, and so I wanted to share them with you. I am really in the mood for reading physical books because I've been reading a lot of ebooks recently and dabbling in some audiobooks, but with the sun coming out today and tomorrow, I was like, this would be a perfect time to sit down and read lots of physical books. That being said, I do have plans tomorrow to go to Portland in the morning. So I might take you along with me. I always say that. I keep thinking about vlogging, but I don't make time to do it with the traffic and crowds and whatnot. I just get getting distracted with going to the different shops. But I will try and get at least a little bit of footage, at least a little bit to like include in my weekly wrap up or something. But we'll see. Okay, so I have a stack of books. Like I said, I am really in the mood to read some physical books. So first one is one that I am currently reading right now. This is Covered Wagon Women, Diaries and Letters from the Western Trails, 1840 to 1849. This is book one, and I got books 1 through 6, yes, 1 through 6 at the local library bookstore, and they were each for like $1 or something, so I was like, I couldn't pass that up, because I've seen these out and about, but I've never picked them up before. I have read several like Oregon Trail letters and diaries collections in the past, but I haven't read the series. I am halfway through it and flying through it because even though it looks, I don't know, like it would take you some time, but the font, there's notes here, but then the font itself is I feel like it's pretty big. I'm just like flying through it, and I'll show you real quick. I got this really pretty bookmark in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I like it's like the Badlands of South Dakota with the pretty sunset there. So I use that sometimes in like the Western books, even though South Dakota isn't featured in here because it wasn't part of the Oregon Trail. But there's a map somewhere in the front. Maybe I can show you. There, and I'm sure I have other books with better pictures because this is just like a black and white picture. But I saw it recently. Let me see if I can flip through really quick to find it. Maybe I'm not gonna be able to. Okay, is that it right there? Okay, yes, okay. But yeah, it's black and white. So South Dakota is here, like I was just mentioning, and it wasn't on the Oregon Trail, but it goes from St. Joseph or Council Bluffs, and it's funny, I've been to both of these locations before, because a lot of this I feel like follows like the main highways going east to west. It makes sense, using the well-traveled, like the easier paths to get from each place. But yeah, it goes along and it ends in Oregon City or Portland. So, and I was looking, I was like, I've never been to any of these. I've read so many of these kind of books, but there has to be a museum here about like pioneers, Oregon Trails, frontier, what have you. And there is. There's like the end of the Oregon Trail is right here. So I'm like, I need to visit it. So I saved it on like my Google Maps, like a want to go kind of place. But anyway, so there is this one. And so I'm like trying to like link some of my books. I was like looking through because I have so many books to choose from. So kind of tying in with this one is I didn't want something so similar. So I picked Wheat Country, which nature and the plains, like what a lot of the Oregon Trail is set at. But it's a little bit different. It's lots of farming, and you have like the typical like square agriculture lines here. Sorry for the noise. Of course, you know, Fable is chewing, you know, chewing on her bone. So yeah, that's just like the theme music of of my booktube channel, I guess. So yeah, I'm just like, really, this is more like a flip through. I think there's some like stories in here, and then when I looked at it, there's an inscription. This someone was gifted this as a birthday present in 1977. So it's to Tom from Marjorie. So yeah, hopefully they love this book, and then I will enjoy it myself. So now transitioning to still some nonfiction, but a little bit different. This is about Rachel Carson, but it is a children's book. This is Listening to Crickets by Candace F. Ransom. And it's like they're pretty like watercolor cover here, and there's tons of illustrations as well through here. So it's just like a mini biography. It won't take me hardly any time. It's less than 50 pages. But I feel like Rachel Carson, anything about her, I think is always worth a read. And I found this, I think, at a little free library, so I wanted to get that. Okay, and then transitioning to books that I have like on my TBR, kind of like this book wasn't on my TBR. This is for like the retro romance readathon. I wanted to read like one more book before the month ends, and this, because this is retro romance, is books from 2004 and earlier. This came out in 1987, and this is Love's Unfolding Dream by Jeanette Oak. She has several series. This is like, there's like, what is the series? Love's Unending Legacy. No, that's the previous book, but what is this series called? But yeah, here like they're all like, love is in the title of all of these, this whole set of books. Love Comes Softly series. In the Canadian West, that's the one I've completed. But the Love Comes Softly, I think I've only read books 1 or 2, and this is later in the series. But I'm pretty sure I can read this as a standalone. She writes a lot of like Christian fiction, Christian romance. It's a Canadian West series. Like, speaking of like the covered wagon, it's like the frontier Canadian Mountie, like the Alberta, like Saskatchewan, Alberta area, and this is also set in Canada. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it's been a while since I read like book 1, like years and years. But I think there's a TV show as well. So yeah, I thought you'd kind of like tie in with these other books, but still count for the retro romance readathon. And then like a not faux readathon, but you know, like a readathon I've created for myself is reading booktubers' favorites. And so one booktuber mentioned that the manga classics was one of her favorites, and so I own Hamlet by William Shakespeare, and haven't read this one yet. I have also, let me see here, where is it? Yeah, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Scarlet Letter, and Romeo and Juliet. So this is the second William Shakespeare book for me. But I like these because it includes all of the text, but with pictures, and so it's like easy to follow. It's kind of like when I was reading Romeo and Juliet, it's kind of like watching the movie and reading at the same time. So yeah, happy to have this one. And then the last book is because the sun is going to end, because it's going to start raining Sunday morning. And so I want to kind of transition back to the rain, because I only have, like, today's the second day of sun. And I, like, living here, you just have to like kind of like hold on to the sunny days, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get the next one. It could be a week or more before you see the sun again. And so to transition back to the rainy, gloomy days, but they're still cozy, I still like them, is I'm going to be reading a gothic suspense. I think this is kind of gothic. Some of these are gothic romances, gothic suspenses books. And so kind of like retro romance readathon, I feel like it could fit in there. But this it's Dark Interval by Joan Aiken, and I don't think I've read anything by her before. And this is Waiting at Her Homecoming with a stranger with evil in his gaze. And so it has a very gothic cover with a woman running away with this spooky castle, and like the tree with no leaves on it, and yeah, it has like the sprayed edges. And when did this come out? And here's the illustration in there. Let me see here. 1967. It says Trial by Terror. Wow. Okay, so Caroline is returning to her family home, Woodhue, and she hates to leave her husband, even if it's for a few days. But there's something threatening her home, and so there's a nameless evil A darkly handsome man, at once fearful yet strangely attractive. Well, if she's married, I don't understand why she. Yeah, this might be a DNF. Like with the retro romance readathon, I've picked up several books that are on my TBR. I think I started with like 5 or 6 books, and like half of them I have DNF because stuff like this that's bothering the heck out of me, and I can't ignore stuff like that. And so, just reading this title here, I mean not the title, but the back of the book, I'm like, this might actually. I might scratch this from my Friday reads pick, but I do have a couple more gothic books I might pick instead. But I'll read this a couple chapters, give it a go, see how that plays out. But yes, those are our plans for the weekend. I'll try and vlog on tomorrow to get some Portland clips. It's going to be really clear and sunny, so there'll be I'm hoping for lots of views of like the mountains in the background, like Mount Hood and Mount St. Helen and Mount Adams, all of that, like the volcanoes that are like all snow-capped are really pretty. So I'll try and get some footage of that. But anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.